The electric excitation of the magnetized bar increases the oscillation of the little pumps of which all matter in motion is composed. The breathing of the light units of the magnetized iron is faster than that of the normal iron. The inhalation-exhalation sequences are so vastly increased that a normal piece of iron falls toward the direction of the flow exactly as heavy trees are uprooted and sucked into the maelstrom of the spirally swirling cones of a cyclone. The effects above described are effects of gravitative preponderance, which universally increase in the direction of north, and north is always at the conical apices of two opposed spiral electric streams which meet at gravitative centers. Substance has no relation to gravitative or to radiative effects. Neither pole is attracted to or repelled by the other. One might as reasonably assert that logs which are speeding through the sluice of an open dam are attracted by the dam and then repelled by it, rather than by being carried by the movement of the rushing water. Or one might as reasonably assert that houses and trees which are being sucked into the cone of a whirlwind are attracted by the wind rather than by the motion of the wind. The electromagnet, which it properly should be called, does to the iron filings exactly what the whirlwind does to the houses and trees. The accompanying drawing will show clearly how all of our familiar and safe wind pressures are upset when opposing whirlwind cones sweep over the land. All effects of motion are whirlwinds. The nearer the gravitative center, the greater the whirlwind. The solar system is a whirlwind, with Mercury swirling swiftly near the gravitative center, where the vast pressures whirl it around the sun in 88 days at a speed of about 30 miles each second, against the Earth's 18 miles, Jupiter's 8, and Neptune's leisurely 3 miles per second. The gravitative center of any mass in motion is the point of greatest density and less speed of rotation. The center of any rotating mass is the point of least axial speed. Motion ceases at the vortex of a whirlpool in the equilibrium of maximum motion in opposition. Magnetic streams flow universally toward the south just as electric streams flow universally toward the north. Electric streams degenerate into magnetic streams which find their south at the bases of cones in which the maximum motion is always in the plane of the equator of the rotating mass. These are the planes of radiation where the maximum radioactive force is near the equator, the hottest part of the surface of any mass. The centers of the bases of the generative cones are at the poles of rotation, the coldest part of any mass. Mass is disintegrated by a magnetic force exerted equatorially, just as it is integrated by an electric force exerted axially. Just as the phenomena of attraction is caused by the flow of a centripetal stream, whirling spirally with ever-increasing swiftness toward the vortex in the apex of the cone of its spiral, so is the phenomena of repulsion caused by the flow of a centrifugal system, whirling spirally with ever-decreasing swiftness toward the base of the cone of its spiral. The electric stream displaces substance by accumulating the universal constant under increasingly higher pressure equilibriums into relatively solid masses, and the magnetic stream diffuses that solidity into tenuity by releasing those high pressures. Affinity in the chemical sense and attraction in the electrical sense are analogous. Both are effects of gravitation. The attraction of gravitation is but a resultant of centripetal force, of which deceleration of the speed-time dimension of the universal constant, and acceleration of power time is the condition precedent. Unequal valency in the chemical sense and repulsion in the magnetic sense are analogous. The repulsion of radiation is but a resultant of centrifugal force, of which acceleration of speed-time dimension of the universal constant and deceleration of power time is the condition precedent. The preponderance of one of the opposites of motion is, therefore, the condition which must be present in mass in order that it may be preponderant in its ability either to attract or to repel. Substance, then, merely appears to attract or to repel, and that appearance is relative. Both forces are equal. A preponderance of one is balanced in its opposite by preponderance of the other. The two added together cause an appearance of stability, which is maintained for a time by motion. The relative ability of a substance to attract and to repel is in the same ratio as the increase or decrease of the opposing pressures and other dimensions which determine the potential of a charging or discharging system. In any mass, the apparent ability to attract increases with increase of positive charge and decrease of volume. Also, the apparent ability to repel increases with increase of negative discharge and decrease of volume. In any mass, the preponderance of the apparent ability to attract or to repel is proportionate to its preponderance of positive charge or negative discharge. In any mass, increase of positive charge is accompanied by increase of negative discharge in universal ratio until the conductivity of negative discharge exceeds the inductivity of positive charge, in accordance with the universal law of sequential preponderance of all opposite effects of motion. And I'll read what is on this page, the tornado principle. Low pressure, extended orbit. A calm day of normal low wind pressure. Each surface cuts opposing cones near expanded base. The vortices of contracting cones are the danger points. Energy is generated in contracting cones. The apices of contracting cones draw toward each other. The gravitative centers contract to a point of north. Energy formerly extended over wide area is concentrated in a point of north. Wind velocity, this is the cyclone at the end. Wind velocity and force, speed time and power time, it decreases in universal ratio within the cone from the apex to base. Because of small magnetic base, the wind velocity decrease is very small. The danger point of a whirlwind is a strong gravitational point of north toward which heavy objects rise as nails rise to a magnet. Periodicity of attraction. The relative ability of the elements of matter to appear to attract is in the order of their periodicity, as has been shown in the chart of the periodic table of the elements. The first gravitational tone is 1+, the lithium line. The second gravitational tone is 2+, the beryllium line. The third gravitational tone is 3+, the boron line. There are mid-tonal pressure walls in the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th octaves, which in their aggregate constitute one tone between 3+ and 4++. The fourth tone, 4++, is a bisexual tone in which the ability to attract is equal to the ability to repel. This progression is increasingly male in sex and increasingly electropositive in charge. Periodicity of repulsion. The relative ability of the elements to repel is in the same order. I'll read that on the next segment.